phantom of the Bermuda Triangle. In the summer of 1998, a seasoned maritime historian named Dr. Elizabeth Harper embarked on a research expedition to uncover the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. Accompanied by her trusted team aboard the research vessel Odyssey, they aimed to document any phenomena that could shed light on the region's infamous reputation. Dr. Harper's team consisted of marine biologist Dr. Aaron Wallace, oceanographer Dr. Lydia Chen, and a rugged ex-Navy captain named Jack Moreau. They were determined to debunk myths and reveal scientific explanations for the disappearances that had plagued the area for decades. As Odyssey entered the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, the sea was unusually calm, and the sky a cloudless expanse of blue. The crew felt an eerie sense of calm that seemed at odds with the triangle's fearsome reputation. Dr. Harper noted everything meticulously in her log, marking their location and the perfect conditions. 3 days into the expedition, strange occurrences began to unfold. Dr. Wallace reported seeing ghostly shapes beneath the water's surface, shapes that moved with an unnatural fluidity. At night, the air was filled with distant, unearthly sounds, resembling faint whispers or cries. Instruments aboard Odyssey began malfunctioning, compasses spinning wildly, and GPS systems displaying impossible coordinates. One night, Dr. Chen awoke to a low humming noise. She stepped out onto the deck and saw a luminous fog rolling across the water, enveloping the ship in an otherworldly glow. Shapes moved within the fog, indistinct yet hauntingly familiar. She called out to her colleagues, but her voice seemed to be swallowed by the mist. Dr. Harper and Captain Moreau emerged from their cabins, drawn by the eerie light. Together they watched as the fog thickened, bringing with it a chilling cold. Shapes became clearer, taking on the forms of ghostly sailors, their eyes hollow and expressions forlorn. The crew of Odyssey stood transfixed, unable to move or speak. Suddenly, the fog receded as quickly as it had appeared, leaving behind an oppressive silence. Shaken, the team retreated to the ship's bridge, trying to make sense of what they had seen. They decided to continue their research, hoping to find answers. The Silent Depths. In the early summer of 1974, the cargo ship SS Helena embarked on its final voyage from Miami to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Captain Richard Harper, a seasoned sailor with over 3 decades at sea, commanded the ship. The journey was routine, cutting through the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, a region notorious for its mysteries and disappearances. The crew of 20 men, though aware of the legends, dismissed them as fanciful tales to entertain tourists. 3 days into the voyage, the weather turned. The sea, which had been calm, grew restless. Dark clouds gathered and an eerie stillness settled over the ship. Captain Harper ordered the crew to prepare for a storm, but what came was far beyond their imagination. At dusk, the ship's radar began malfunctioning. The screen flickered and showed erratic signals. Harper, trying to maintain composure, ordered a manual check. The first mate, James Reynolds, reported no other vessels in sight, yet the radar insisted something massive was approaching. Suddenly, a thick, unnatural fog enveloped the SS Helena. Visibility dropped to mere feet. The crew, now on edge, moved about with lanterns, their beams swallowed by the dense mist. The air grew cold, and an oppressive silence settled over the ship, broken only by the creaking of the hull and the distant thunder. As night fell, strange things began to happen. The compass spun wildly, and the ship's radio picked up a cacophony of strange noises. Whispers, static, and the occasional distorted voice. Harper tried to broadcast an SOS, but only silence answered. Then came the first scream. It was the ship's cook, found trembling and incoherent in the galley. He spoke of shadows moving in the fog, whispering his name, beckoning him. The crew, hardened sailors though they were, began to panic. They armed themselves with whatever they could find: knives, tools, makeshift clubs, and huddled together, eyes darting into the mist. Throughout the night, more crew members vanished. One by one, they were lured into the fog by unseen forces, their cries echoing before abruptly cutting off. Those who remained saw glimpses of dark figures just beyond the lantern light, eyes glinting malevolently. Desperation set in. Harper, in a final bid to save his ship, ordered a course change, hoping to escape the malevolent fog. But no matter which direction they turned, the fog remained, an impenetrable barrier. The last entry in the ship's log, written by a trembling hand, read, "They are coming. We are powerless. The Triangle has us now. May God forgive us." Days later, the SS Helena was found adrift by a passing tanker. The ship was intact, but eerily silent. The crew had vanished without a trace. The lifeboats were still secured, and the cargo untouched. Salvage crews who boarded the ship reported a pervasive feeling of dread. Some claimed to hear faint whispers in the fog, calling their names, urging them into the depths of the ship. Most refused to return after the initial inspection, and those who did returned with haunted eyes, unwilling to speak of what they had seen. The ship was eventually towed to port, where it sat abandoned for years, a ghostly reminder of the unsolved mystery. To this day, the fate of the SS Helena and her crew remains one of the Bermuda Triangle's darkest enigmas, a chilling testament to the unknown horrors that lurk within the silent depths.